Alright guys, so here's your syllabus till spring break. Mr. Wolf should have passed this out and you should have this. The unit we're going to do between now and spring break is Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. It's chapter 4 and 5 in your text. So if you look over the sheet, the key thing to notice is that you don't have a blog and journal reviews. We're changing those out. So you still have your project you got yesterday. You're still going to have the reading quiz. But for in place of the blog, you're going to have Fishbowl Fridays or Friday Fishbowl, whatever you want to call it, which I'll explain here in a couple minutes. So we'll have one this Friday, and then we'll have one next Friday. And then you have some casework that you have to do and kind of in place of the journal reviews. But you also don't have your vocab or your chapter test. You just have the unit test. And the goal is to be done by the 24th of March, which, keeping on that pace, that doesn't mean you have your unit test on the same day that project's due. So you're going to want to make sure that you're kind of spacing things out. I'd like to have the chapter reading test Monday for you. So this Friday, we're going to do a fishbowl. And then Monday, do a chapter reading test. And then probably the next Thursday or the following Monday, we'll do the other chapter 5 reading test. And I'll get in touch with you guys about that Friday when I'm back. So when you look through this, you can kind of see same general setup that you have. So Mr. Wolf has also passed out another sheet, which is casework. Okay. These cases are the most important cases for the AP test. Now, not all of them are tied to the 4th and 5th Amendment, the Marbury versus Madison and McCulloch versus Maryland. You guys already know that. But most of these are going to be tied to the, not 4th and 5th Amendment, but Chapter 4 and Chapter 5. Most of these are going to be tied to civil rights or civil liberties, and we're going to talk about the differences of that here in a little bit. So what you're going to do with these is you're going to fill out this sheet that's attached to those. And so you have your case, and that's just the title of the case. So that would just simply be like Marbury v. Madison. And then the year, I don't remember what the year was. I think it's like 1803 if I remember right, something like that. And then doctrine, outcome, significance. Okay. Judicial review or process of court, Supreme Court ruling and action, constitutional or unconstitutional, is established. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm looking for. Okay, you're going to have to do research on these. There's 31 of them there because there's a lot of cases there. But I just want the significance, the outcome, whatever that means. You don't have to go into massive detail. So some of them are tied to First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment. But just making sure you understand the case. So you're going to have to research each of the cases, which won't take too long. You just Google them, and they'll pop up pretty fairly quickly. They're all major cases. And you just have to put what the significance was. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of them. There's 30 of them. They're ranked in order of the most likely to least likely to be on the test. So Marbury versus Madison, McCulloch versus Maryland, pretty much guaranteed. The last couple, they have the smallest amount of chance, but they still have appeared on the test before and could easily appear on the test again. So you're just going to fill this out. You should do this as you go through the unit, especially the Fishbowl Fridays, because some of these cases are tied to the First and Second, Third Amendment, whatever. And when we do the Fishbowls, that's going to be something that you need to reference. Okay. So you're going to go ahead and do all of that and keep that in track of that. And I'll check this similar to your outlines, where I'm just going to be looking to see that you have the key parts there. I'm not going to be grading for books and writing a beautiful, masterful essay. I'm just going to be looking to make sure you have this. You're creating your own study guide basically for the cases to do that. So you need to look through these, kind of fill them out as you go, make sure you're hitting those. Okay. Hopefully there's not any issues. If there are any questions that you do have about this, go ahead and just email me, and I will get back to you since I won't be back until Friday. Now, fishbowls. So I don't think we've done a fishbowl yet in class. The way the fishbowl works is first period, you're going to be in groups. second, or I'm sorry, let me back up a step. Second period, because there's so many of you, you guys are going to be in teams. Fourth period, you'll have small teams, and eighth period will be a free for all. Okay, and so what a fishbowl is there will be 4 or 5 of you in the middle of the room and desks, and you'll be speaking. I'll ask a question, and you guys will start debating the question, and then everybody else that's on the outside will tag in with somebody in there. And the rule is you cannot tag in until somebody else has already spoken, and then once you get in there, you have to say something, contribute to the conversation, and everybody has to speak at least once per question that I ask. Okay, so this first fishbowl on Friday that we're going to have is going to be tied to the Bill of Rights. Okay, so the questions are going to be tied to the Bill of Rights. So, should the death penalty be legal or illegal? Second Amendment questions with gun control. First Amendment freedom of speech. Okay, those are the kind of questions. Next Friday's fishbowl are going to be tied to civil rights, which are the other aspects that have come through time. So the Bill of Rights is our civil liberties, and then the other protections that we've gained over time is what we call our civil rights. And we'll talk about that here in a second with the next sheet that you should have got. So, well, let me back up a second with the fishbowl. So as you go through your fishbowl, you're going to do that real informal, mini discussion debate. Like I said, I'll throw out some questions. They're going to be worded trying to get you guys going a little bit. Okay? And then after you do your fishbowl, you're going to have a few minutes where you have to do an observation sheet. And you're doing this on a piece of paper. Okay, so you're going to briefly just state the final opinion on the topic, your main facts, data, or information that support why you believe. What's the main reason that you believe what you believe? Okay, and then 2 questions you have about the topic. Okay, so that's going to be put on there. And then your next little part there is going to list the best points made during the fishbowl, okay, and then responding to any questions or statements that were made that you really want to respond to. And the last little bit is going to be the summarizing of the entire topic, both sides. So whatever the topic was that was thrown out, you're going to summarize it, okay? So, and when we're talking about the civil rights, there'll be multiple questions out there, so I'll give you guys a specific question that I want you to focus on. But this is not supposed to be more than 1 page. Okay, I'm not looking for you to write an essay book here. This is at the end of the period. You take 5-10 minutes, collect your thoughts on paper, clear opinion about it. Okay, express yourself. But that's it. Okay, and then I'll collect those as basically journal reviews. And then or your blogs, whatever you want to trade them out as, that's up to you. But that's how you're going to get points for this, is participating and then doing this real quick write-up. So you're going to have two of these days, one this Friday and then one next Friday. Okay. So, and then last but certainly not least today, we're going to look at this worksheet that you guys have. So the civil liberties introduction, and this is a key concept, and this was actually one of the FRQs on the test last year. So making sure that you have this worksheet in front of you. Okay, you need to understand what the difference is between civil liberties and civil rights. So the civil liberties are the rights protected in the Bill of Rights. Your free speech, cruel and unusual punishment, Second Amendment. They're guaranteed rights that were specifically listed in the Bill of Rights. Okay, your civil rights are the rights that grew out of the 14th Amendment. So when the 14th Amendment was created, it created what we call incorporation. Selective incorporation, and that means that the states have been told that this is something that is protected for all citizens of the United States. Okay, so voting rights, treating equal under the law, education, those kind of things. Okay, these are things that have not traditionally been guaranteed, but things that have, now we viewed as they need protections. So this is tied to discrimination and mistreatment. Okay, and over time, these have become stronger and stronger and stronger, versus the civil liberties were always there. We've always known what your freedom of speech. It doesn't mean that everybody got to speak out, but it was always there. Versus it wasn't until the civil rights movement in the 1960s that we started seeing voting rights being protected and laws being passed to ensure that that's there. Nowhere in the Constitution, nowhere does it say that you have the right to vote. That is something that was defined by the states. The states were all over the place by it. And so the federal government came in and said, 14th Amendment, all American citizens are going to get the right to vote. We're going to protect that. So that's written up on your sheet. Hopefully you understand that. So what I want you to do for the rest of the period is you're going to go ahead and work on this. You can get a jump start on your case work today, and you can get a jump start on your project. But I want you to fill out this. What is civil liberties? What is civil rights in your own word? Give a specific example of a civil liberty. Give a specific example of civil rights. Okay, and then don't worry about this part. Just scratch that out. That's not supposed to be there, and I messed that up. Okay. So when you look at which one's limiting the government and which one's empowering the government, think about this from the federal government's perspective. Okay. So we're looking at, how does the civil liberties affect the federal government versus how does the civil rights affect the federal government. And so I want you to write a response to that. List out many of the civil liberties that you can think of. Rank them in order of importance. Okay, and then go ahead and think about any civil liberty issues that you have in the local areas. Okay, whether it's Columbus, Ohio, wherever, but you're focused just on the civil liberties part of this. Okay, we'll come back to the civil rights. So chapter 4 is going to be your civil liberties, and then chapter 5 is going to talk a lot about your civil rights, and we'll hammer that. So you got a lot of stuff to do today. You're basically getting a work day to kind of dive onto this stuff. If you got questions, you can ask Mr. Wolf. He'll help you as much as he can, or shoot me an email. And then tomorrow we'll go over some notes and get going there. And then make sure that you are working ahead with this time today to start learning about the Bill of Rights and the first 10 amendments. Okay, so that fishbowl on Friday, when I throw out, newspapers should be censored. How are you going to respond? When I throw out all assault weapons and explosive devices should be banned from the United States unless you're military police personnel, how are you going to respond? And you need to be able to reference the Bill of Rights and understand those. So you definitely want to start looking at those, start looking at some of those court cases. You can use your devices, use your phone. If the Chromebooks are free, Mr. Wolf can let you use those. And you can start doing a lot of this work that you have to get done. So enjoy the day, have fun, and you will hear my voice again tomorrow. Bye.